Hello everyone, Victor Irving Jenkins here. Welcome to Omnipresence. This presentation is all about how to build premium brand positioning through magnetic messaging perpetually displayed to your perfect ideal prospect, and to do so while having the appearance of your being absolutely everywhere in their universe. It will seem a little bit complex, but then you'll realize it actually isn't. It all starts with something called magnetic messaging. What is magnetic messaging? Here's the deal. Your clients have problems, which for you is pretty good because they pay you to solve them. For them, it's pretty bad. Here's the deal. You have solutions to those problems. That's how you earn money. Magnetic messaging is a framework for creating a presence in your marketplace that highlights you as an authority on solving your prospects' problems. This is easier than it sounds. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you how to do all of that during this video. Once you have your magnetic messaging mapped out, you distribute it with something called targeted omnipresence. In this video, I'm going to give you an overview of how targeted omnipresence works. And then in the next video, I'm going to show you how to map out magnetic messaging. Let's talk about targeted omnipresence. This is an overview of the entire process, several steps, really simple. The first thing we want to do is, once we know what to say, don't worry, we'll figure that out in a minute. Once you know what to say, to write a helpful article on your blog. Good thing about blogs is they're cheap and they're easy to set up and maintain. Next thing we're going to do is, we're going to make a Facebook post on your fan page. You're going to need to have a real Facebook page, a fan page. We're going to make a Facebook post to that article. We're going to drive people to that article. It's going to start giving us a little bit of traffic. In that same time frame, we're going to create a video covering the same messaging that you just did in your article. Basically, you're taking that article and you're just turning that content into a video. Before you let the concept of making a video freak you out, you should know that this type of video works great. It's just your voice over a screen flow, or what do you call it? A PowerPoint presentation. That's totally fine. As a matter of fact, it has been tested live, on camera, highly produced videos versus little videos like this one, and believe it or not, little videos like this one actually get completed more than the fancy kind, which is good news for you because it might mean that you don't have to spend a lot of time and money trying to make the videos look fancy. Once you've created a video covering the same messaging that you did in your article, what you do is that you take that video and you post it to your YouTube channel. You're going to need a YouTube channel. Another good thing about the YouTube channels is that they're free. So that's pretty sweet. You post the video to your YouTube channel. The next step there is you post that YouTube video on Facebook. Now you're driving traffic to the YouTube video as well. They're seeing the video on Facebook. They can go to your YouTube channel there, and finally you extract the audio from your video and you use that audio as a podcast. Look at all these steps here. We're talking about articles, blogs, Facebook, videos, YouTube, podcasts. Sounds like a lot of work, doesn't it? Here's the deal. It's actually not. If you think about it, what you're really doing is you're writing one blog post. Then you're just taking the same content of the blog post and you're recording a video out of it. If you wanted to, you could just put main slides to cover exactly what you said in the blog, and then just make a video of those slides just like I'm doing right now. Then you're posting stuff. Your real work is actually writing one blog post, then making a video saying the same thing that you said in the blog post. Then you're just making Facebook posts and stuff. That's not hard. Why are we doing all this stuff? The mission is basically to draw people to you. We're really accomplishing several things. First, we're seeding the ground for something called low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit are people who know you, who like you, and who trust you and want your stuff to begin with. These are your easy sales. People say, man, Victor, you've been really, really good at all of this kind of stuff. You have an unfair advantage because everybody knows you. That's true. And the reason they do is because I do stuff like this a lot. If you want to have that, where people know you and they like you and they trust you and you don't really have to sell that hard, that's what this is for. We're seeding the ground with low-hanging fruit. The second thing we're doing is we're building a situation where your ideal prospects will start seeing you everywhere. Here's the thing. Actually, the third thing I want to tell you, or even the fourth thing, is we're providing attractive bait for them. Here is the deal. Today, when people start getting in the buying mood for something expensive, especially for something expensive, it's pretty rare that they see something and they immediately buy it. It just doesn't really happen that way. Think about your own behavior. When you're selling something like advice, like consulting or coaching or a speaking gig or professional services like that, and people get the bug about your stuff, what they're typically going to do is they're going to consume everything they can by you. Not because they're investigating you or checking you out, but because they really like it. The more that you have out there, the more likely you are to accelerate the process between someone finding out about you and someone pulling the trigger and contacting you about becoming a customer or a client. I know this from my own personal experience. You've probably had it happen in your life as a customer. First time it happened to me, I read about this guy named Frank Kern. I can't even remember how I heard about him, but I started looking for him on YouTube. I listened to everything by him that I could. I watched everything by him that I could on YouTube. Listened to every interview I could by him, every podcast I could by him. Finally, I wrote to his office and said, please take my money. There was no marketing to me at all. Why? Because I was low-hanging fruit as a result of all the cool stuff that he had posted and that I had consumed. I should say that from time I heard about Frank Kern until the time I gave him the money was very short. It was maybe a few days because there was so much stuff. I was able to consume it all. I was really getting into it and I was like, man, this guy's great. Go ahead and take my money. They never actually even had to send me a sales letter, which is perfect. Is that going to happen every time? No. But we want to facilitate it happening because if you have enough going on, you'll start having a little bit of a system. You'll build a pipeline. What we're ultimately doing with all this material is we're driving your ideal prospects to a campaign. That's how all this stuff works. Let me give you a visual process just to make it simple, because I know it might seem overwhelming. We've really got four things. You put an article on the blog. That's the WordPress logo. If you're not techie, that's totally fine. WordPress is free. It comes with every internet hosting account in the world. You can set it up literally by pressing a button. The blogs are really, really easy to use. That's wonderful. We just write a blog post. Then we go to Facebook and we say, hey, I just wrote this new blog post about XYZ and you can check it out here. I know you might be wondering, what are we going to write the blog post about? Don't worry about that. This is just an overview at this point. Our hardest work so far has been writing a blog post. Not too hard. We went to Facebook and we said, go check out my blog post. You probably make Facebook posts every day, so that's not going to be too hard. What's going to happen now is that people are going to start going to that blog and they're going to start liking your Facebook page. They're going to start getting value from you. We go and we take the very same thing that we wrote on the blog and we just make a video of it. If you're good on camera, get on camera. If you're not good on camera and you don't have good lights and you don't have good audio, then don't worry about it. Make yourself a screen cam video like this one. People like these. You just want to record that video, upload it to YouTube, and then you just want to strip the audio out of that video and turn it into a podcast. We've taken that one blog post and we now have created 3 assets from it. We have the blog post itself, we have the video, and we have the podcast. Your market is going to want to get help from you in multiple ways. This is why we're doing it. We're using Facebook as a means to start distributing that content. Ultimately, all this stuff is going to drive people to some sort of lead capture page, an opt-in page where they can either opt in for a free report about the stuff you're talking about, or they can request to talk to you or something. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but now here's the overview. It all sounds, and it is, very simple to do. It's not that hard to write a blog post, and it's not that hard to make a simple screen cam video. Here's the facts. I don't want to oversimplify it. Number one, if you have absolutely no market presence, meaning that no one has ever heard of you, then using this method is going to take a little bit of time. That's totally cool. That's fine. If no one knows you, you don't have any Facebook following, and you don't have a list, then it's going to take a little bit of time to build momentum here. The second thing I want you to understand is this is not a substitute for actual advertising, but it does make your advertising more effective. I'll show you how to tie this in with advertising later as we work together. This doesn't mean that, hey, you just go out, make a Facebook post all day long and you'll get rich. That's not what I'm telling you, but this does help your advertising. Also, this isn't an overnight mission. It's not like you're going to write one blog post and then the world's going to start coming to you saying, please take my money. You need to be doing one piece of content per week. If you think about it, if it takes you like 4 hours to do this every week or something, that's kind of a lot really. But then it's worth it. Because by the end of the year, you got 52 different pieces of content. Actually, you've got 52 times 3. You've got 52 blog posts. You've got 52 videos, and you have 52 episodes of a podcast. You're everywhere. You're the real deal. You're legit. Hey, if you do 2 a week, you're crushing it. You're really, really rocking out. That's the overview of this thing. I'll be getting more specific in our future time together. In our next video, I'm going to tell you how to start finding out what your magnetic messaging should be, because you don't want to make a blog post or a video about just random stuff. In fact, there's really just going to be a very narrow window of stuff that you talk about. It's really simple to do. No problem. You got this. You got this. I'll walk you through this entire process, but we've got to start with, what do you say? Now that you know the overview, we'll start figuring out what you're actually going to say. I will see you in the next video.